Hey guys, I know what you're thinking. Dave, tell me about some awesome but super cheap accessories for the SONY ZV1. But first, why are you so damn close to the camera? Well, accessory number one is going to fix that straight away. Is that better? We now have the SONY ZV1 attached to a selfie stick tripod. It's small, light, inexpensive, and you can also attach any 1/4 inch screw compatible accessories to it, like a small light for example, so it's a bit multi-purpose. Right now we're using it in its fully extended mode, but you can also have a less extended mode which looks like this, which I still think looks pretty good. And if you want to travel even lighter, you can actually attach the tripod legs that come with the selfie stick on their own directly to the ZV1. That looks like this. If you're okay with this kind of viewing angle, then there's potentially an even cheaper solution to get a grip extension for your ZV1, and that's to use any old tripod legs you happen to have lying around. Whether that's from a gimbal that you aren't using or another tripod, they could well do the job for you. So now we're walking with the selfie stick fully extended, and you can get a sense of how the active stabilization is looking. Today's video is all about super cheap yet powerful accessories for the SONY ZV1. So I can't recommend a gimbal because that's clearly quite pricey. However, I can recommend Sony's free Catalyst Browse software, which takes gyro information recorded by the ZV1 and allows you to do some really impressive stabilization in post-production. The results can be surprisingly good, and it's especially helpful if, like me, you have naturally slightly shaky hands, or if, like me, you are a bit of an idiot and decide to drink a massive amount of coffee before going out to film vlogging camera footage. #genius. Full video on Catalyst Browse linked in the description. So, summary of accessory number one. It's a small, light grip extension and mini tripod for around £12, though cheaper options may be available. The two different extension options and the removable tripod legs mean that overall you have 3 different angles of view that you can achieve with extensions of different lengths. Plus, it comes with a smartphone holder and is compatible with any small accessories that you can mount with a 1/4 inch screw. Now, I realized after I started to edit the vlog footage that as we moved to accessory number 2, my wireless mic got caught underneath my scarf. Schoolboy error. So I apologize for the slightly more muffled audio quality. You can still hear me just fine, but that is why it's a little bit different. And on that impressive fail, back to the vlog. So, let's say you want to achieve a wider field of view, but even a selfie stick is not portable enough for you. Well, accessory number 2 is going to help with that. Which brings us to this, the Zomei 52mm wide-angle lens adapter. Hopefully you'll agree this is a pretty sweet vlogging angle, but it's more expensive than our selfie stick and it requires a separate adapter, which you'll also need to pay for. So why is it a good option? Well, beyond the wider vlogging angle, you can also use this for extra capabilities for landscapes and B-roll shots, which we're going to demonstrate now. Let's say I really like this combo of building and trees behind me. I want to get a nice wide landscape shot from this kind of angle, but I can't move physically any further back because, look at that, a gigantic stone lion is in my way. Problems that we've all had to face, I'm sure. So let's look at the shot that I can get without the wide angle lens, like this. Here is a shot from the furthest I can get using the ZV1 and no wide angle lens. And here is the wide angle lens adding to our field of view without me moving a single inch compared to before. Now, just like that, our wide angle lens lets us get a wider shot even when space is constrained. Like that, you dumb lion. But to attach this lens and our next 2 accessories, we need an adapter for the ZV1. So I'm going to pass to Future Dave in the studio to explain accessory number 3.
Future Dave here. Not as futuristic as you might have hoped, but I can summarize accessory number 2, which is our wide-angle lens adapter for around £15 to £30. For the Zomei one that I have, prices seem to fluctuate, but alternatives are available which look like they do a very similar job. You get a much improved vlogging angle. It's small, pocket-sized and convenient, plus quite helpful when you are in confined space or you want to capture a wider landscape. But how do you attach this tricky customer to the SONY ZV1? That is the job of accessory number 3, the Profezzion lens adapter kit. It's around £17, though again there are alternatives that will do the same job. Just make sure it's a 52mm adapter that fits on the SONY ZV1. This little thing attaches to the front of your ZV1 with a couple of included adhesive strips. It stays well fixed, only adds around 10 grams of extra weight and 0 extra bulk to your ZV-1, but allows you to attach any 52mm accessory of your choice, like our cool wide-angle lens adapter or our next two cheap but powerful accessories. Hopefully it's obvious, but this video is all about showing you why these accessories are useful. If you want to take a closer look, I'll have links to all of them in the description. But right now, let's get back to demonstrating.
So, now we've covered a bunch of accessories to help us get wider views with the ZV-1, let's take a trip to opposite land, and we're going to focus on getting the closest macro shots possible. Before that, while we're in opposite land, remember, if you enjoy or find a video helpful, don't like, don't subscribe, and don't comment, and especially don't watch out for more ZV-1 content on the channel. Remember, opposite land. Let's say we are fascinated by one of the plants here in the nature, as David Attenborough calls it, and we want to get a really nice close-up shot. Here is the kind of thing that the ZV-1 can do with no accessories. Now I'm going to attach my macro adapter kit, and suddenly we see the world in gigantic scale. I believe the technical term for this is Tom Cruise perspective. More information and way more test footage of the macro adapter linked in the description.
Summary of Accessory 4. It's a macro adapter lens kit with 4 pieces that can be used separately or in combination. This one was £26, but I've seen others that look very similar for between 15 and 30 that I imagine would do a similar job. Check out the link in the description to see the crazy results you can get with this macro adapter and the ZV-1. But right now, after accessory number 4 comes...
Accessory number 5 would be easier to demo on a bright sunny day because it's all about managing the amount of light coming to the Sony ZV-1. We're talking about a handy 52mm variable ND filter which attaches to our Profezzion adapter, like this. So why is this variable ND filter so useful? Aren't there other ways of reducing light coming into the ZV-1 and avoiding overexposure? The answer to that is yes. In fact, the ZV-1 has a built-in ND filter, but that has only 3 stops of ND and it's either on or off, so there's no tweakability there. You could also increase your aperture, but I love the blurry background bokeh, so I'm not going to do that. I want to keep to the fastest aperture of 1.8 to keep that image quality. Alternatively, you can increase your shutter speed, but if you want the cinematic or movie-like motion blur, you're going to want to keep your shutter speed to around double your frame rate. And if you have a shot where there's any kind of electronic lights in there, you might have to deal with light flicker. So these things mean there are lots of situations where you don't want to change your aperture, you don't want to change your shutter speed, and the binary 3-stop ND filter built into the ZV-1 isn't going to help. That's where the variable ND becomes super helpful. Let's switch to manual settings to demonstrate. Now our built-in ND filter is turned off, but thanks to the variable ND, I can, like they suggest in some parts of Soho, just twist until I find my happy place. And like that, I have much more granular control over the exposure while keeping my aperture and shutter speed the same. Let's say we're shooting a shot of the clouds. Right now, we're way overexposed. If we turn on the built-in ND filter, it gets a little better, but there's still major overexposure. So let's twist our ND until we can see the detail of those clouds and the moody sky above us. All this without changing our aperture or our shutter speed.
So accessory 5 is the Zomei variable ND filter. Lots of others available, but this happens to be the one that I have tested. It's around £10 to £15 with some fluctuation in price. Super handy for controlling exposure when you want to fix aperture and shutter speed, and it's probably my most used accessory on this entire list. Image quality is good right up to the highest ND level where you start to see some uneven darkening in the image, but because you can combine it with the built-in ND filter of the ZV-1, I've never had to push it that far. Knowing that, let's get back to the vlog.
I've noticed that the battery on my ZV-1 is starting to get a little low, so accessory number 6 actually helps to
address that. Well, you're back sooner than expected. Since you're here, let's talk accessory number 6, which helps the ZV1's battery life. This is the Newmora 3-pack of batteries and charger, which costs around £20. Cheaper options with 2 batteries are available, but I found 3 to be most convenient. You can plug in USB-C or the same micro USB that connects to the ZV1 directly into the back of this little charging dock, and then juice up to 3 batteries, including of course compatibility with the original Sony batteries. You can also power this charger from a power bank, which further increases its portability. I did a quick battery life test shooting 4K 24 frames per second with active steady shot and got 1 hour 4 minutes 41 seconds with the official Sony battery and 1 hour 13 seconds with these Newmoras. Very respectable, and a great cheap way to mitigate one of my few dislikes with this otherwise awesome camera. Last but not least, Accessory 7 is our cheapest, yet one of my most used. This is the Amazon Basics camera bag for point and shoot cameras, large. Catchy name aside, for just £7.29, this little bag can fit the ZV1, variable ND filter, all 4 macro lenses, wide angle lens adapter, and 3 batteries if you pack it carefully. It's unlikely you'll need all of that at once, so for normal scenarios, it is more than good enough. The pouch on the front is super handy for quick access, and the adjustable strap extends far enough that you can even wear it like a tiny messenger bag. Strong fashion aesthetic, I'm sure you will agree. Just like you'll agree, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and especially for making it all the way to the end. Links in the description for everything covered in this video. No affiliate links because the channel is still too small. So if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, then a subscribe, a like, or a share would be amazing. And of course, any questions or thoughts are welcome in the comments. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take it easy.